What up, y'all? It's your boy Dawson from D&D TV. Thank you for rating, commenting, and subscribing. Everybody who's donated, those of you all who will, you know I appreciate it. Also, go over to my other YouTube channel right there, Dawson Speak TV. Make sure you subscribe. And for those of you who are not getting my videos, please make sure you click the little bell that's next to the subscribe button, and you will get my videos, all right? Now, let's get into this topic. Attorneys for two women abused by an Orlando Seventh-day Adventist pastor, Pastor Billy LeVay, have filed a lawsuit against the Florida Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists, alleging that the church was negligent after the Orlando pastor was convicted of sexual activity with a minor and child abuse. The women who wanted to be named and tell their stories had attended the church in Orlando, where Pastor Billy LeVay was senior pastor. A video leaked in March 2017 of Pastor LeVay having sexual relationships with both Kenya Gills and Jenny Dorsonville. And Pastor Billy LeVay was arrested in May 2018. He was charged with unlawful sexual activity with a minor and child abuse after Kenya Gills and her father pressed charges. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 7 years of probation, which I think is just a slap on the wrist. But nevertheless, the attorneys allege that the Florida Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists was negligent in supervising Pastor Billy LeVay and others at the church. The Florida chapter has a duty to oversee, manage, and to ensure the safety and well-being of its parishioner members at its churches, according to the lawsuit filed in May 2019 in an Orange County Circuit Court. The Florida Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists knew or should have known that Pastor Billy LeVay had proclivities to seek sexual pleasure from his minor parishioners and or prior instances of sexual misconduct, and they allowed him to remain in a position of authority and control over children, according to the complaint. From the summer of 2016 into the early 2017, Pastor Billy LeVay escalated a pattern of manipulation, coercion with victims, according to the lawsuit, including taking them to hotel rooms under the guise of conducting business for the church. My Lord. Now, I'm going to let you all watch this video, and I will be back with the rest of my commentary, and you all know me, I will not hold back, and we are not bashing. People say on this show, oh, Dawson, you always bashing the church, you always bashing church people, you do this, but you know, I was looking at some of our old videos, and Denise cleared this up very well, and I'm going to let y'all hear what she said. Here you go.
This is not a male bashing show, because I've been accused of bashing black men, and this is definitely not a bashing black women show.
Right.
This is a show that we
about bashing bad decisions.
Exactly. Thank you.
I got you.
Bashing bad, just bashing. Say it. You got it.
Bashing bad decisions.
And that's what it is.
That's right. We bash bad decisions. And it was a bad decision for Pastor Billy LeVay to carry on any type of sexual relationship with Kenya Gills, who was underage, and also the 21-year-old at the time, Jenny Dorsonville. Now, I'm going to let you all watch this video, and I'll be back with the rest of my commentary. And you all know me, I will not hold back.
Our other big story at 5, lawsuits filed against a former pastor and the Florida Seventh-day Adventists.
Attorneys for two women who claim they were sexually abused by a pastor say the church was negligent. Pastor Billy LeVay was sentenced to 7 years in jail last year. A judge found him guilty of sexual activity with a minor and child abuse. News 6's Nadine Yanis was at the press conference today. She's alive at the church off Rio Grande in Orange County. So, Nadine, both women had some very powerful messages today.
Well, Matt, they wanted to tell their stories of what they say happened within these church doors behind me here when they were both elected into coveted secretarial roles here to the pastor back in 2016. And they say that within the Haitian community and Haitian churches, the church is like a second family and the pastor is like a second father, which is why they stayed silent until they announced this lawsuit today.
Billy sang my mother's funeral, and my father in his head, he's saying he would never do anything to my girl.
Kenya Gills was just 16 years old, and her father was the right-hand man to the pastor of the Bethel Seventh-day Adventist Church, Billy LeVay, now sentenced to 7 years of probation for sexually assaulting her from June of 2016 until March of 2017.
I was hurting in silence, but it hurt even more when things came out, because my father, I had to look my father in the eyes, and he had to ask me, why did you not tell me I'm all that you have?
The abuse coming out after a video leaked showing the former pastor having sexual relations with Kenya, who was a minor, and with the other secretary of the church, Jenny Dorsonville, who was 21 at the time.
I remember when the first abuse happened to me, I was confused. He even said it to me too. Before I left, he was just like, your poor mind, you don't even know what's happening to you, and you probably won't even grasp it. But eventually you'll come around.
Not pressing criminal charges back then, but here with Kenya to file a lawsuit today against both Billy LeVay and the Florida Seventh-day Adventists, claiming negligence.
We're looking for them to instill policies that have grip and teeth to make sure that women, both of age and not of age, like these two beautiful women here that are very brave to tell their story, don't have to go through what these young women have gone through.
And today we went by that former pastor's house. He was not home. We've contacted his attorney late this afternoon. We have not heard back. We also reached out to the Florida Seventh-day Adventists, and we've also had no response. We'll see if we hear back from them, Matt, next time you see me at 6 o'clock. Until then, we're live in Orange County. I'm Nadine Yanis, getting results, News 6.
All right, y'all, let's go in. Now, Kenya Gills went on to say that she wants the Florida Conference, she wants them to do more background checks on the pastors and the people they have working for them. And both women are speaking out in an effort to help others who may find themselves in similar situations, according to their attorneys. Kenya Gills went on to say, we want to say to anyone that's out there, if you feel like you can't tell anyone, that's not the way to do it. Someone can help you. Now, I know this story has been out there since 2017 when those videos were out there and the pictures were out there of Pastor Billy and these two women. People were sharing that stuff all over the internet. I don't know if some of it may still be out there. I ain't pulling up no videos or no tapes to put on here because I don't do that. This is not the YouTube show where we do that. We can talk about the issues at hand using the information that we get from the news report. That's what we can do. But let me say this. There are a lot of people who saw those videos, who saw those pictures, and I've read some people comments. Some people feel that, okay, these girls were having fun. They didn't seem like they were forced. They didn't seem like it was something that they did not want to do. There are a lot of people who feel that way. And a lot of people feel that, and I tell you all this all the time, that some people feel like, oh, well, some of these kids are fast. Some of them are grown and all this kind of stuff. And they probably lied to the pastor. They probably did this. Well, Kenya couldn't have lied to the Pastor Billy because Kenya worked for the church. Pastor Billy knew that she was underage. In her case, there's no excuse for that. So that's why her father and that's why they went to the police and he was charged. And he is now on 7 years probation. Now, in the other case of Jenny Dorsonville, a lot of you all may say, well, come on, Dawson. Jenny Dorsonville was 21 years old at the time. She wasn't underage. She was a grown woman. There's no way that she could allow this pastor to force her to go to hotel rooms. This is what I want to tell you all. Jenny was also employed at the church. That was also her community. That was her family. And if you are working somewhere and the pastor could easily say, we want you here, or I don't want you working at this church anymore. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that she is just a young woman, young adult who's saying, you know what? I don't want to lose my job. I'm going to go along, do whatever it is because I don't want to lose my job. And there are a lot of women, not only 21 years old, women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. That's why they have the Me Too thing going out, because people thought that they had to do stuff in fear of losing their job, their livelihood. There are a lot of women who thought they had to do certain things in order to keep their job. So I can understand even a little bit in Kenya. I can understand why she didn't come out as well in the beginning. Now, look here. When it comes to Pastor Billy, I want to go back to what the lawsuit said because I'm going to work right here. Let me go back and read this. The Florida Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists knew or should have known Pastor Billy's proclivity to sexual pleasure from his minor parishioners and or prior instances of sexual misconduct and allowed him to remain in a position of authority and control over children, according to this complaint. What they are saying there is that not just this situation that happened with Kenya and Jenny, that there were other situations that happened in the past that have not surfaced or did not come out to the extent as this has, that they knew that Pastor Billy, there were already different complaints about his, sexual misconduct against other parishioners in his churches, and nothing was done. Like in many situations and many stories I've done where pastors, people in the church, people at the at the synagogue or different things like that, people know what's going on, but they hide the situation. They keep things on the hush. Hush. We gonna pray it away. Hush. We just gonna remain silent. Hush. We gonna let God fix it. And I tell you all the time, the only people y'all are hurting is the victims. The only people you're hurting, trying to protect the pastor, trying to protect leaders in the church, trying to protect leaders. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be in the church. You're hurting the victims. Because you think just because they don't talk about it, that it's going to go away. But these people live with these experiences. And sometimes it plays out when they're adults. It plays out in their marriages, in many of their friendships and relationships at work. This stuff just doesn't go away. And this stuff is happening over and over and over again. I took a while off from YouTube just to take a break because I wanted to take a break. Nothing major was going on. I just wanted to do research, wanted to regroup and all that kind of stuff. And I kept seeing many stories come through of pastors in church being arrested, sexual abuse, pastor doing this, minister doing this, all these kind of stories. This is not an isolated incident. This stuff is happening all around the U.S. And many people in churches are told just to pray, just to sit back and pray and let God fix it. No, you gonna fix it. You gonna stand up and have power, authority, and dominion in your churches, on your jobs, in your community when you see stuff like this, and speak out about it. Now, as the pastor of that church, Pastor Billy was held to a higher standard. He was held to a higher standard. He should have known better. Now, I think the whole 7-year probation, that was just like they just gave him a slap on the wrist. That was just nothing. That really was nothing. For this man to be out there with this underage girl and then another secretary at the church, and to say that he is a man of the cloth, a man of God, getting in front of the people week after week after week. And people did videos on this. They talked about this whole thing, but nothing. People keep it quiet. And a lot of times, let me say this, and I talked to some of my friends about this, and I've even talked to some of my colleagues about this because, we're all in the social service field. A lot of times when it comes to abuse, when it comes to sexual molestation, when it comes to anything like that, especially with minorities, this is what happens. We don't talk about it because a lot of us have been molested and we've been raped and no one did anything. Take a breath. I said it. Because a lot of us went through situations where we experienced things and no one in the family did anything. No one at the church did anything. They just prayed and they just hugged you and said, oh, it's going to be all right. God got you. You going to be strong. You going to be strong. Oh, you still a little girl. You still going to be a bright girl. You ain't going to be out there fast. I bind that fast spirit right now. Or they tell the little boy, oh, you still going to be a boy. You ain't going to be no punk. I know he molested you, but you going to be okay. Go throw this football. No one has ever dealt with the trauma that people have gone through. And people come over to my show and they want me to stop. No, that just keeps me going when I see stories like this, because somebody has to speak about it, lest God help us. Somebody has to speak about this stuff. And many of us, we run to these churches and conventions and to these conferences, and we want these pastors and evangelists and televangelists and all these people to lay hands on us. Lay hands on me because you're the pastor of the church. Lay hands on me because I see you on TBN, on BET, on the Word Network. Lay hands on me because I see you up here with these celebrities. And if you lay hands on me, maybe I'll get what you got. But I don't want what you got if you got depression, if you got a spirit of being a pedophile, if you got a spirit of negativity. You letting people lay hands on you, and the only thing you know about them is that you see see them at everybody's conference, that you see them on television, you don't know if these people are pedophiles. You don't know if they're rapists. You don't know if these people are being committed in their relationships. People will get up and they will preach on a certain thing, and then they will go and do the total opposite of what they preached about. You telling people to come out of this and come out of that, but you ain't out of it. And you telling them to always come out of it is you basically trying to save yourself because you can't come out of it. You beat people in the pulpit because you're really trying to beat out of the stuff that's in you. Speak, Dawson. You know I am. That's really what it is. And you see so many people who go to these churches, these centers, these mosques, these synagogues. You see so many people depressed. I don't know if I'm coming or going. So many people who are waiting. Oh, we in our last days. And y'all even put that stuff out here on my show. Oh, we in our last days. We in our last days. Well, I want y'all to think. You know this is a YouTube show for thinkers. Walk with me for a minute. I feel like talking right now. We in our last days. We in our last days. Ain't no hope. We in our last days. Do you not think that the slaves did not think they were in their last days? Take a breath. Do you not think that the people who were in the Holocaust, who went through that, do you think they didn't think they were in their last days? Do you think the people who went through Jim Crow, the Great Depression, the people who were bitten by dogs, who were hosed down by police officers when they marched in Selma and marched with Martin Luther King, you don't think those people were in their last days? We want a cop out because we don't want to take responsibility and we don't want to rise up. I'm going to talk about it today. We ready for Jesus to come back. Oh, Jesus is coming back. And I keep telling y'all better get it. Perhaps Jesus wants you to come up. Come up in your mind. Come up in your consciousness. Get the Christ consciousness that you can overcome anything. You running from the world when God said, I have come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. Not when you die and go to heaven. You can have it right now. Many of you who come over here and throw all these scriptures, I'm sick of that. Are you living that? Is it manifesting in your life? Has it been saturated in your consciousness that you can have a display of what you keep preaching to people in your life? You want to preach to people about health, love, and prosperity, but the doctor got to tell you, you got high blood pressure, you got diabetes. Why God didn't love you enough to tell you that since Jesus is your homeboy? Come on, y'all, talk to me. You got to talk to me. This is a YouTube show for thinkers. You can't throw scriptures out here. I'm a thinker. I'm a researcher. You just can't do that to me. Especially when I look at our communities, when I look at the stories that come on about churches where people are in these institutions and they have prophetess there. They have evangelists there. These people who are supposed to be so powerful and know the way. You didn't know these little girls was going through this? You didn't know that the pastor was having an extramarital affair? All of these people, oh, I'm a prophet to the nation. I could see. Tell us when the next mass shooting gonna happen so we can prevent it. Come on, prophetess, help America out. Y'all want to make America great again? Come on, prophetess, that's what you could do. Y'all better leave me alone today. I told y'all I'm a thinker. A lot of times these people are playing on your naivete. They know you naive. And they know you love the Lord. A lot of y'all, you love the Lord. You'll do anything for the Lord. And many of these people will call you out in an audience, lay hands on you. And you, because you, well, that's my pastor. Oh, I seen them on the Word Network. Oh, they were with this big time evangelist or this big time person. Oh, lay your hands on me. But they're not telling you that they dealing with infidelity in their marriage. They're not telling you they're hiding their sexually transmitted disease that they got and they're not married. Oh, come on, Dawson, talk. You know I am. This is a YouTube show for thinkers. We gonna think. Everybody else is gonna say, sha. Nope, shut up. We gonna think. Because all that running and jumping has done nothing for us but put us in a downward spiral where we keep going through the motion, and we have to have the piano. We have to have the organ. We have to have something. Oh, hey, I got it. You ain't got it if it's not showing up in your life, if it's not showing up in your community. You don't got it if you always need 15 people to lay their hands on you. Girl, man, you ain't got it. Your pastor ain't going to tell you because they want your tithes and offers. You don't give me none, so I'm going to have to tell you the truth because I want you to be happy. I want you to be healthy. I want you to live the abundant life that we were called to live here on this earth. Now look here. Pastor Billy was held and is held to a higher standard. As many of these people in the churches in leadership, they are. And when they do something and use their position of power, that's what they're doing, y'all, to prey, P-R-E-Y, on people in the congregation, you have to take responsibility of whatever the consequences is. Whatever the consequences is, that's what you got to deal with. And I know a lot of you all will say, come on, Dawson, get off the pastor. Don't touch my pastor. You don't know I'd do anything for my pastor. Yeah, woman, I know you will do anything for your pastor. Yeah, we know a lot of y'all are. A lot of y'all are defend. Come over here and thank you. Man, I just sit there and laugh sometimes. I done seen it all. I done heard it all. And here I am. I don't even... At one time, I was like, let me just stop because I think I'm being too real for the people. Then I get a letter. Then I get another letter. Then I get a letter from people who out of the country. My God, somebody hit me up. Where that letter came from? Somebody from Spain. Go on the other YouTube, commented. I'm over here in Spain listening to you. Keep going. People hit me up all the time. This happened to me. You spoke on this. My pastor didn't, they didn't even want to deal with the situation. But I turned on little old YouTube. Thank God for YouTube. You know, these secular people, you know, YouTube is the devil. But these people turned on YouTube. And they heard this old country boy down here. Keep pounding at it. That it ain't time to die. You got to live right now. You got to take responsibility for your life right now. Don't be a doormat. Let people abuse you and walk all over you and take their mess. You don't have to do that. Well, Dawson, you don't know the church is all I have. And if I lead the church, if I say something, all my friends going to go against me. Well, let me tell you something. We're going to talk scripture here today. You know, the man who lay beside the pool of Bethesda, when Jesus came to him, Jesus didn't touch him. Everybody passed by that man. They didn't help him up. And some of you are in churches and people know you down and they're used to you being in a state, being lame. And they're passing by you because they're okay with you in that situation. But when Jesus shows up, come on now. When Jesus shows up, he's not going to touch you. You got to walk on his word, baby. You waiting for the touch. You waiting for somebody to come and lay their hand. Oh, just lay it on me. Just touch me. No, nobody ain't touching you. You going to walk on the word. Activate your faith. It's already in you. You got it. Getting $10,000 for somebody to come lay their hands on you so some popular person can know your presence and know your existence. What does that mean when you don't even know you exist? You can't even be alone with yourself. You can't even look yourself in the mirror, but you want some popular televangelist, some popular pastor in the community to know you exist? Come on, man. Come on, woman. Get your mind together. Now, Pastor Billy and this church, this lawsuit has been filed, and I will keep you all up to date with what's going on with this. Now, many of you may say, come on, Dawson, these two girls, I don't agree with you on this, and definitely put it down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Y'all know I'm just a curbside prophet with my hand in my pocket, and I'm waiting on my rocket to come. My gosh, somebody know what's on. That's all I am here. Just sitting back looking at everything and saying, how can people be so gullible? How can people be so scary? All this stuff that's going on in the world. And y'all ready to run and hide. And I believe that our Creator is looking for someone who will display his greatness, display his overcoming power, display victory in their life, display resurrection power, not just on Easter, resurrect. Resurrect out of depression. Resurrect out of low self-esteem. Resurrect out of always needing people to do for you and be around you, learning that you can walk on your own and do some things for yourself and stop giving people the glory and learn to give God the glory. That's why you having mental. Let me shut up. See, I'm finna go there. I don't be like, y'all know I don't preach. I ain't no pastor. I just be going there. It's just up in me. You know that I grew up in that old Pentecostal church at the Holy Rollers. It's all in me. And then I went over to the church where they made me think. They told me we ain't jumping and shouting over here. You gonna think today. Today you gonna think. You been jumping and shouting and shout. And your life ain't changed. Because you wanted the emotions. You got to get the consciousness. You got to get the Christ consciousness, baby. That's what you got to get. Thank God for them people who told me that. That changed my entire life. That's why this YouTube show is what it is. Because they told me to sit down, boy, you got to think. I went to a Bible-based church for thinkers. My God, look here. That's all I got to say on this. Y'all know I be getting in and on off topic. It's my show. I'm going to do what I want to do on the show I created. The show Denise and I created. And please know Denise will be coming back. We went out to South Beach trying to film. Something happened with the camera. We ate. I don't know. We got too happy out there and lost the footage. But we will be coming back. And shout out to Denise. She is a great person. And I'm happy to have been with her. She's so special to me all this time on our show. So that's all I got to say on this particular topic right here. Y'all go in. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all know how I get. Go off in the comments. I love y'all. Love yourself. Peace.